Okay, so here we are again. You just showed us that amazing book, and we were talking about how you help people after they make the
Right.
money or what to do after they've accomplished your goals. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, it's actually not after you accomplish the goal, it's after you set the goal. So like I said, we are goal-oriented organisms. We're always thinking about what we want, right? Okay. So let's just take a common average goal, like I want to make more money, right? Everybody wants that. Okay. So you say, hey, Noah, I want to make more money. Okay, here's $5. Go away. No, you got to get a lot more specific than that. Like, so how much do you want to make? And I ask people that, I ask my clients that all the time, like, well, how much? What are we talking here? And some people say, I just want to make an extra five or $10,000 a month. Now, if you think about that, boy, that's life-changing money for most people, right? Just adding an extra 5 or 10K a month. Wow, now you're talking huge changes in your lifestyle. I mean, that's, paying off your mortgage early, that's a new car, maybe, upgrading the house, sending the kids to college or whatever it might be. I mean, that's a lot of money for the average person, right? Just an extra 5, 10,000 a month. All right. So if you say, let that just take a simple goal like that, right? Well, no, I want to make an extra 5, $10,000 a month. Okay, great. But you know what happens right after most people set that goal? Here's what they do. They go, I probably can't do it.
Hmm.
Right? They literally, the minute they set the goal, they immediately psych themselves out. And they say, I can't, I don't think I can do it. Right. And then what I do is I dig a little bit. I say, okay, well, so why can't you do that? Oh, well, no, I don't have the time. I'm just too busy. I don't have the money. I can't afford it. It takes money to make money, and I don't have the money, so I can't afford it. I can't even afford to get started. Or I don't know who to trust, right? I've tried lots of things, I failed, and I'm afraid to do it again, and I'm afraid to be humiliated or look stupid in front of my family and my friends. Do you see all these reasons that we have? We pile all these reasons up of why we can't do the thing that we just said we wanted to do, right? So what happens is it's like, so if you think about your goal as a destination, because that's actually what it is, right? So imagine if you wanted to go to the grocery store down the street, right? Like that's your destination. Now, what most people do is they say, well, I need to go to the grocery store. But what I say to people is, you wouldn't get in your car, drive to the grocery store, walk around the grocery store for an hour, get back in your car, and go home. That doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, why did you go in the first place? And you're like,
Definition of
well, I
insanity.
went because I need, food. I need milk, eggs, bread, butter, whatever. Right? Okay, well, you have a reason for doing that, right? You have a reason for going to that destination. So, what's your reason for wanting this goal? Well, I want more money. Why? Why do you want more money? Well, I want. So, it's really the money isn't about the money, it's about the feelings. It's about security and safety and wanting to provide for your family. You see what I mean? So, we have to get to those layers of underneath the goal. But then here's the thing. Let's go back to the grocery store, right? Imagine if that's your destination, but you know what most people are doing? They get in their car and they start driving down the road with one foot on the brake. So you're driving down the road of life with one foot on the brake. Now, if you're driving down the road of life with one foot on the brake and one foot on the gas, how long do you think it's going to take you to reach your destination? It's going to take you forever. You might never get there. And meanwhile, you're using all this energy and you're going, why am I not getting anywhere? Right? And so what happens, and this is really sad, but so true for so many people. What happens is they're frustrated, right? They're like, gosh darn it, why aren't I reaching my goals faster? Well, you know what? I'm going to go on social media and I'll follow these different gurus. So guru number one says, hey, you know what you need to do? You need to buy a new type of gas, right? This gas isn't good enough. You need to buy really high octane gas. So you go, all right, well, go to the gas station, put in expensive gas in your car. You get back in your car, but you still have your foot on the brake, so you still get the same result. Then guru number two says, you know what you need? You need a new set of tires. You should try these really expensive tires because they're the best tires on the market. You spend more money, you put the new tires on, but you get back in your car, you're still doing the same thing, you get the same result. Then finally, the third guru comes along. They say, you know what? You need a new car. Hey, check out my expensive Italian sports car. You should get one like me. I'm really cool. Look at all my cool stuff. You should be like me. And you're like, oh my God, all right. So you spend all this money, you trade in your car, which was perfectly fine. You trade in your car, you get this expensive Italian sports car, but you're still doing the same habit and you're still getting the same result even after all this time, money, and effort you spent. So here's what I do that's different. I come up to you and I say, Did you know you have your foot on the brake? And you're like, no. And then I say, well, if you get your foot off the brake, you'll actually reach your destination 10 times faster with a lot less time, money, and effort. And you're like, really? Yeah. Yeah. Just get your foot off the brake. And then you're actually going to reach your goal 10 times faster with all that stress and effort. And you're like, where do I sign? How do I do it? So that's really what is happening for so many people. They're doing all these things that aren't the problem. I'll give you a perfect example of this. I was speaking at a seminar in Los Angeles for 1,000 entrepreneurs. It was, a very successful audience, 7 and 8 figure CEOs. And I finished speaking, and a man came up to me out of the audience. He said, Noah, I want to hire you as my coach. You are the coach that I've been looking for. Now, I didn't know this man from Adam. Ironically, his name was Adam. True story. You can actually see his video on my website. But anyway, I said to him, okay, what's going on? He said, Noah, I own this company and we got to 7 figures in revenue really fast. We grew and we're here, but we have been stuck at the same level for the past 4 years. We have been stuck, plateaued. And he said, I have thrown all kinds of money at this problem. I've hired every marketing guru on the planet. He named all the gurus. And he said, but we can't break through that ceiling. And he said, as soon as I heard you speak about head trash and foot on the brake and affirmations, everything you just said, he said, I knew that you were the coach I've been looking for. So he literally decided to hire me on the spot. That's why I love working with high achievers, right? They make decisions quickly and firmly. They don't dilly-dally. They don't mess around. They don't
They
even
don't rule by committee, that's for
exactly.
sure.
They just do it, right? So anyway, I coached him for 18 months, and in that 18 months, because I was able to like work with him and help him get rid of this head trash, we were able to take his company that had been stuck for the previous 4 years to over 20 million in revenues, a 600% increase in less than 18 months. That is usually impossible. But you can watch his video and many, many others on my website, and you'll hear him talk about 600% growth. We call that hockey stick, right? So you're going along like this, and then whoop, it looks like a hockey stick, right? So that's what I do. And that's what I've been able to do for not just Adam, but for thousands of people over the last 30 years. And the reason I'm able to do that is because of exactly what I teach you in the book, Get Rid of Your Head Trash About Money.
So I know people are their own worst enemy. They don't believe in themselves. They'll talk to
Right.
somebody down the street who will give them a life-changing direction that is completely wrong, and they'll offhand the authority. I like your example about going to the grocery store because when you go to the grocery store, you need to get something there.
Right. You
There's
don't just go and walk around.
height of insanity doing the same thing over and over again.
That's right.
But, I'm holding up a pen here and I say, this is it. This is the key to your success. You have to sign on that dotted line. You
Hmm.
have to sign up. And going back to your early days, that's why I admire you because you went into the library, you started looking, you were, trying to find through the veil what that truth was. And here you are teaching it now. I'm interested in asking, you had this CEO of a company who obviously had several people working for him.
Hmm.
You must have had to go back and talk to those people that were in his employ, how not to step on the brake, how to cooperate, how to get lined up with a single goal or whatever the magic was you did. So that was no easy task. That would be something that was very complicated, and it would require a certain genius into understanding the mechanisms of the different people. And, building the team, if you will. So I think that's an unspoken credit to how you changed this company around.
Thank you very much.
If,
Appreciate that.
like, I'm going to sort of ask, putting your foot on the brake and putting your foot on the gas. It wears the brakes out too, by the way. It costs you a brake job sooner or later.
Exactly. I've had many clients say to me, Noah, after watching your videos, I realized not only had my foot on the brake, I had the emergency brake on too.
Yeah.
That's how much that I was holding myself back and I didn't know it. And I want people to realize, everybody listening to this program, I want you to realize that no one does this on purpose, right? It's not like you want to hold yourself back. When I was going through that, because remember, I was a poster child for this. Why do you think I wrote all these books on the subject? Because I needed them. I wrote these books for me, and of course, lots of people enjoy them too, but I had to write them because no one else would solve the problem for me, you know? And so now I've had, thousands and thousands of people go through my coaching and training programs and online courses and books and so on. And, they're very grateful because they are, in fact, I had one client who said she was a recovered seminar junkie. She was going to all the seminars. And, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, just trying to find the answer. And meanwhile, and she was doing well, but again, she couldn't break through that income ceiling. She joined one of my coaching programs, which is called the 12-week breakthrough, because I'm known for helping people make more in just 12 weeks than they did in the previous 12 months while actually working less. Well,
Mhm.
she actually joined my 12-week breakthrough program and tripled her investment in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, she tripled her investment. Talk about hockey stick. And we hadn't even got to the money part yet. That was all just because I showed her how to take her foot off the brake and get rid of the head trash.
Well, I think you also get people to believe in themselves.
Yes,
And, I mean, when you're so close to the problem, like my hand in front of my
that's
face,
right.
you can't see.
That's
But
right.
get somebody to pull that hand back and you can see the big
That's right.
picture like you're so able and capable to do. I mean, you can see the mistakes, the shortcomings. So
Yeah.
again, you know, it goes back to I keep when I hear you talk about the things you do, it goes back to when you were younger. You made all those mistakes. You had the
Mm.
tenacity to look. And you were a pathfinder. I have a vision of you going through a jungle or trees, cutting them down, and then, hey, everybody, come on, this is the way,
That's
you know.
right.
So,
I
I
like that.
admire courage, I admire tenacity, and when people have gone through the tough times and the lowest of the low you have been, like
Mm.
myself and other people as well, I mean, you can appreciate how you've been successful. And you just didn't get to a point. I want to make everybody think about this. You're not just at a point where you can retire and say, I'm going to Hawaii or Tahiti or somewhere and have those pina coladas on the beach. No, you're back here again being a servant. The greatest master becomes the greatest servant. And here you are encouraging people. So, the long and the short of that is that uh, the hardships in the past are your foundations for the future. And I think it's amazing that you can just go in and go, there's the problem. Take
Yes.
what off the break. So,
Yes, indeed.
okay, let's take another quick break and we'll be right back. And let's show that amazing book again.
Oh, sure. Okay, so the book is called Get Rid of Your Head Trash About Money. And you can grab your free copy at sendmeabooknoah.com. Sendmeabooknoah.com. The book is free. Just cover the shipping. We ship anywhere on planet Earth. So sendmeabooknoah.com, and I will do that. I will send you a book. And also, if you go to breakthroughwithnoah.com, that's where you can book a 15-minute complimentary business consultation. So either me or one of my coaches will get on a Zoom and we'll take a look at your business and see what you're doing, see what's holding you back, and then we'll give you a 3-step plan so you too can get that hockey stick growth like my clients do. So just go and book that at breakthroughwithnoah.com.
We'll be right back.